I didn't want to continue to stay the same. I didn't want to continue to stay this person that was a follower, that was following these, this crew, this group.
Yep.
So yeah, so excuse me for 1 second. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. So I had to make this decision within myself. And so when I look at your situation, I think the system made the decision for you, without realizing that this was a part of what helped you to sit back and get into yourself now, your situation, your circle. So you wasn't around a lot of people because something else could have occurred then if you was in the general population. That you know what I mean? That
Yeah,
where
I
you
mean,
would
I
have probably
was.
had to,
I made it there. I was there.
yeah,
Chi-Chi's, all the things, you know how it goes.
yeah,
But if I ever never have another one of those in my life, I'll be good to go. So
good to go. That's right.
I
No
like the
question.
block
But
parties and the picnics on the outside, not, the garbage bag full on the inside. Um,
absolutely,
but yeah, it definitely, you're 100% on that with, really just taking that deep dive and being able to like look yourself in the mirror. That's the hardest part, and kind of just strip those layers apart for sure. I also was sexually assaulted by corrections officers and moved to another prison.
mm,
So like relocated because I came out about it, and then I was physically assaulted when I came back to testify against him when I came back, and then I was in bad shape. I was put in confinement again for like a month. Oh no, like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks on the mental health pod to try to like no, but they wouldn't let anybody come see me. Then not even
mm,
my attorney. So, it was a rough patch right there, and
mm-hmm.
really just made me sit back and think about like forgiveness, what that looks like. And it wasn't till
No,
I came to the point in my journey where like I was able to forgive others, and that in turn led me to finally be able to kind of forgive myself, right? Like you don't forget, you don't move on, but for me it's about doing better, being better, and making a more positive impact in the community and in the world, how we found it the day before.
absolutely, absolutely. So if we could you talk about that day, that last couple of hours when the day before that you going home, you finally come to that point. How was that for you?
That was
How did
like,
that look?
it was scary. It was scary because so much had changed in even just those 23 months.
A lot.
Technology, like it was like a computer, like what? You know what I mean? Like just the data programs, just things were different, out of different lens too. I was excited, don't get me wrong. And when I said my farewell speech to everybody, because I was in a halfway house at that point, I was like, I will be back, but it will not be in this chair. I'll be back on the other side to help you guys. That's my promise. And I stuck by it. Every Christmas, I would take Christmas stuff down, cards and gifts for the women in the halfway house, and just try to give them some hope. I didn't know who they were because, things change, people change, and times change. So I didn't know who would be in there, but I just, did my best to try to bring some joy for the people. But I remember coming home and my mom was like, you don't have to ask to take a shower. You can eat whenever you want. Like it was like you're so conditioned and you don't realize how quickly it happens. That's the scary part.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So in coming home, how was that for you? Like employment, just adjusting back to society. How did that feel towards you? Was it able
Yeah.
for you to get employment now? Did you go back to school? What happened?
That's an awesome, awesome, good question. When I was in the halfway house, had gotten a job at one of the high end restaurants. We had to work. So I was serving and doing that. I did that for a while after I got out too, but then I started working at a chiropractor office for a while, and then I had already graduated nursing school, but then I had to take on the state board of nursing because I gave up my EMT license, and then now it was okay. Now we have to go tackle this hurdle. I did
Hmm.
after 4 years from graduating. I did take my nursing boards, and I passed by the grace of God the first time because they changed the whole format. The whole format, like yes.
Yes.
Um, but I had the way that it was, I had to be on a probationary status because of that's the only way they let me sit for my board. So okay, that's fine. We'll do that for 4 years, 5 years. It wasn't until I went to go back for my master's because I went back for my bachelor's, but I didn't have any clinical. When I went for my master's at Duquesne University, they denied me admission
Mm.
the first time, upon it because my nursing license was in this status, if you will. And I
Yes.
was like, all right, well, I'm going to call the state board of nursing and see what we can do. So it's just about like anticipating the no, but I'm going to try to figure it out and see what happens. 3 days later, I was admitted.
Nice. Nice.
So,
Congratulations.
yes, thank you. I went for forensic nursing because not only that's my passion, reducing recidivism, mental health, substance use, everything, anything that you can think of that has to do with forensics. That's what I went for. And then went back for my doctorate and then went back for a postdoctoral with an executive MBA in healthcare from Pitt. So I am done with school now and married with 3 kids. So, God's had favor and
Absolutely.
gave me somebody who was perfect and who I, needed. I
Nice.
was a bad people picker, if you will. Like
Yes.
I dated a Secret Service
Mm.
agent, and then after that, I'm a domestic violence survivor. Like I was not a good people person picker. You know what I mean? I
Yes.
wasn't until my authentic self came out, and I was like, I deserve better. That's whenever God showed up.
Things happen. Absolutely. No question. I like to say too, I'm finished with school, but I know I might have a little something left in me. But when I went to, prison, I went away without a GED. And I
Hmm.
came home with my GED, my associate's, my bachelor's, and my master's degree. So
Amazing.
I definitely, I definitely know when when you got to put those hours in days and in years and
Yes.
to accomplish and what you want to with our education, and like your mother said, like they can never take that from us, you know.
I think I ran with that a little bit.
Absolutely. No question about it. So now what I do want to do is just touch upon touch upon, if I could, your book, right? So transforming trauma into triumph. That when I read that part, I was like, wow, the trauma part is so necessary to talk about when we talk about formerly incarcerated, when we just talk about people in general, because a
Everyday
lot of us,
life.
whether that's right, whether we go through the system, the prison system or not, suffer through some type of trauma. That's just what I believe. Um,
Yep.
and this book, it says how one woman's harrowing beginning led her to God, grace, and growth, and how the lessons learned can help you too. So, you know, uh, this was I haven't read it yet, but I already got the link. I'm gonna get it today, and share with my brother, my partner, Mr. Cologne, Anthony Cologne, who's my co-host. He's out the country right now, but we definitely would love to have you back to go a little bit more in depth in with your book in trauma. Right now, if you could speak about, the inspiration that led you to writing this and some things in it, if you could.
Yeah. So whew, I would say the inspiration just first and foremost, I started to like write, when I was incarcerated and when I got out. and I put pieces of the book just in a Word doc and just let it sit there. I was like, I don't, it's, now's not the time. Like, it wasn't the right time. It just sat there.
That's what I
And it
have some of
sat there,
mine in right now.
yeah, for like 12 years. It sat there.
Wow.
2014, the Associated Press reached out to me. We had lunch. They wanted to write on me. I declined. Politely declined. Just wasn't the right time. And I actually went to this conference. It's called Life Surge. If you're familiar with it, they go all over the country. But I went to that event, and it was Annie Ann Baylor. She owns Annie Ann Pretzels. If you're familiar with them, you see them at all like the rest stops or
Right.
so I heard her share her story, and it was in that moment I was like, all right, I can't run from not sharing it anymore. Like it really just empowered me. And she actually is the one that's on the top of my book. That's her, Annie Ann Baylor. She gave me a testimonial. Um,
Absolutely.
and it was time because so many people are hurting. So many people are stuck in the cycle of insanity, just not knowing their self worth or purpose or direction.